Hello and welcome back to Know to Pro. My name is Zach and this is the channel where I document my journey from a below average runner to the Brisbane Marathon 2032 Olympic champion. Now, I can't see it, just got off the treadmill here and I thought it was pretty timely to talk about the 4 pillars of training that is the foundation of my belief. Now, I want to do all 4 of them eventually, but I'll go through the first one today. Let me just grab a seat. Alright, so what are the 4 pillars? So pillar number 1 is the training itself. Pillar 2, nutrition. Pillar 3, which is what I want to get into today, is sickness/illness. Now, pillar 4 is strength, mobility, all that sort of good stuff. Now, I want to do each 4 of them on their own as their own separate video, and today I want to focus on sickness and illness. So the reason I want to do that today is for the first time in, I think that's 16 to 20 weeks, something like that, I had to skip a session yesterday because of sickness. Now, nutrition and training are the keys. You can't do anything without nutrition and fitness and training. However, if you get sick, it affects your training. You have to skip sessions. If you get sick, it's because you got poor nutrition. So those 2 factors affect everything else. And so making sure that what I've come to realize is that I need to slow down a bit. So I had a look at my training peaks, and so it's got still got a bit of a cough. So it's got a graph that shows like my yearly transition, and you can see it's basically a straight line up. However, so I think I'm currently week 4 or week 5 of this is my second proper training block. What you can see is the first training block, nice straight line. That is a good straight, it pauses for a bit when I have my recovery week. Since then, it's more of a parabolic. So my load is increasing much faster than it was before. And that, I think, firstly, is an issue. The body can only build up, it can only improve, a little bit at a time. I think the Japanese word is kaizen, which is like, 1% improvement every day. Now, what I'm aiming for is something similar, but it's more like a 0.1% every week. So very slow, very gradual improvements, which over time will be, massive, but it does take time. And so what I think I've been doing is I'm not overtrained, but the extra training load is affecting my ability to recover. And because I've got a young son, I've got an active lifestyle, I've got lots of work requirements, I work a full-time job, lots of travel, all these sorts of other stresses. A full-time athlete would not necessarily have those stresses. And so because I've got them, I need to make sure I'm balancing recovery with building. And what that's done is it's ground me down with the additional training load, and I've gotten sick. I think I mentioned in my last video how I had in the throat. I then had to, that night, drop my wife at the airport. She had to travel to Perth for work. She's a very important person. And so it was a late night, lots of travel, lots of activities. And I just couldn't get, it was bad. I even had to take the day off work. So what I want to get across to you guys today is sometimes you need to take the day off. There's a lot of talk online about, if it's in the head, push through. If it's in the chest, take the time off. What I have normally found is that if I don't take the time off, it just gets worse. I'm potentially even regretting the session I just did. But I'm gonna have tomorrow off because I know I've got other stuff going on, So I pulled this one forward because I'm feeling a bit better. Now, what I've generally found is that, let's say you take a whole week off. Now, I've only taken one session off, so I can jump straight back into training, like normal, pretty much. If I take a week off, generally what I will need to do is I need to go back to the last week that I did. So that, essentially, I'm about 2 weeks behind schedule. Now, for every additional week, it's another 2 weeks. So let's say, even if it's just travel, if I'm not training for 2 weeks for whatever reason, that's 4 weeks I need to go backwards. So then it takes me 4 weeks to get back to where I was before that block. And that's what I found has been really good, is when you think about all the time off, you don't really, lose in the legs. The legs are generally fine. The body just needs time to recover, recuperate, and it's roughly a 2 to 1. And I think that's what people get wrong, is when they jump back into training, they go full blast. You know what? I did an hour at threshold yesterday. Well, last week. I can do an hour at threshold today. If you've got an illness, generally, I'd probably cut it back to about 30 minutes, and then next week go that hour. And that's basically it that I wanted to go into today, because I just wanted to talk about the 4 pillars and give you. There's going to be something coming up next week. Make sure you subscribe for that. It's going to be a bit different on this channel. I'm not going to say what it is, but that's why I'm filming this on a Tuesday instead of a Sunday. So, I'd like to thank you guys all for watching, and let me know down below what you'd rather see next. When I go into the other 3 pillars, do you want to see my strength routine? Do you want to see like my nutrition? And I guess nutrition feeds into illness because a lot of it's like a link. Or do you want to see specific sessions that I do, more of my training? So drop a comment below which one of the 3 you'd like to see, and thank you guys so much for watching. I just got out the shower. I'm just doing a second take because I'm not sure if I got everything in that first one that I want to get across. But the key thing that I want to emphasize in this video is illness on its own. Obviously, stuff can happen. Someone can have COVID and spread it to you, flu, all this sort of stuff. However, now the big reason that I generally get sick is the change in weather. So it's winter. Here, what happens a lot is it starts at -5 in the morning, but by the afternoon, it's 15-20 degrees. That's a 20 to 25 degree change over the day. My body just can't handle, well, it's getting used to it, but it struggles with that massive, variance in temperature. You go to work wearing 6 layers, and you come home in 1. Like, come on, seriously. So the biggest thing I want to emphasize with illness is that a lot of it comes down to training and nutrition. Both of these need to be on point. You need to make sure you're not in a massive calorie deficit, because calorie deficits affect how much your body has to fight illness, to fight infection, to keep you healthy. The more energy you have, the more likely you are to be healthy. Plus, you also need a varied diet, all these different nutrients and whatever. And then when it comes to training, you always need to make sure you don't overload your body too much, too fast. So I believe that anyone can do a 60-hour training week. But you need to build up slowly. It will take you maybe 2 years to go from 0 to 60. If you go from 0 to 60 in a year, okay, you might be able to do it, but you're opening yourself up to illness and injury and burnout. Now, that is why going the next couple of weeks, I'm cutting back my training. I'm not cutting it back, but I'm slowing the growth. So I was supposed to build up to, I think I mentioned in my other training video, that I was going to do an hour and a half in the mornings. So at the moment, what I just did just before was an hour 15. Next week was supposed to be an hour 20, then 25 and 30. So by June, I would be doing an hour and a half every morning. What I'm doing is I'm cutting that back. So next week is an hour 20, but the week after is also an hour 20, and then 25 and 25 and then 30. So I'm making it 2-week blocks of increases rather than one. And so that's going to slow my rate of growth, slow the rate of the impact I'm putting on my body. But I'm still building, I'm still increasing the load, but in a way that my body can manage. And that is what I really want to emphasize, and I hope you guys take away from this video, is that illness, well, it can be luck. A lot of it is also down to the work you do. So, as always, train hard, train smart. See you guys next week.